All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon, and in this video, we're going to be in the 135, 147, and 148 pound divisions, where Gervonta Davis, Terence Crawford, and Canelo Alvarez have a strange three-way conversation, which is being pushed by a lot of deluded boxing fans. But I can't blame Terence Crawford for wanting to be part of it. Let's talk about that in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon, and in this video, we're going to be talking about two of the two biggest cash cows in boxing and the best fighter in boxing. Two biggest names in boxing: Canelo Alvarez, Gennady Golovkin. I can't believe I said that. Canelo Alvarez and Gervonta Davis, and the best fighter in the world, in my opinion, is Terence Crawford. Terence Crawford, however, is confusing the two things. Just like I confused 2 and 3, he's confusing the two things, because the biggest name in boxing ain't necessarily the best fighter in boxing, even though in this case, all three of them have a claim at being the best fighter in the world in boxing. I think all three of them have a legitimate claim for it. For me, Terence Crawford is the guy. However, Terence Crawford is engaged in a little bit of hypocrisy. And what does hypocrisy mean? It's when you say one thing and you do another, or you hold a standard for yourself that you do not hold for somebody else. Now, before I get into the details of it, let me welcome you back to the channel. If you are new to the channel, please accept my invitation to hit the subscribe button, hit the bell icon so you can be notified of when we release more videos. And if you're a long-time subscriber and supporter of the channel, thank you guys so much for continuing to watch the channel. All right, so a couple things happened. Terence Crawford said two things. One came out of this side of his neck. The other one came out of that side of his neck. And yeah, call me a hater if you want, but dude, you cannot skip past this. It's very, very obvious. However, at the same time, it's really not that big a deal, because neither one of the things that he's talking about are going to happen, because really neither one of the guys that people are asking him about fighting want to fight him or are going to fight him. Nor is he going to fight them, because he's not going to do what he would need to do in order to fight him. Now, what is it? People have been talking ever since Errol Spence Jr. lost to Terence Crawford about Gervonta Davis fighting Terence Crawford. Also, more recently, but not long after that, people started asking Terence Crawford about moving up to fight Canelo Alvarez. What did Terence Crawford say? Terence Crawford said to Gervonta, "No catch weight for you. If you want to fight, I welcome you to move up and come to 147 and fight with the big boys." Right? No catch weight. Now, Gervonta Davis, for his part, has never said anything about fighting a guy. He cracked a joke one time on Chicken Talk podcast, actually, he didn't even crack it himself. He went along with the joke for a second and said, yeah, I see me knocking him out in 6, I'm just joking. But people ran with that. But not that Gervonta Davis said he's doing. As a matter of fact, his camp said, man, we're not 147 pounders. That's that easy. We're 135, he's 147. I'm not moving up to 147 to fight that. We're not moving up to fight him at 147. However, it is interesting to say, just for this conversation, that Terence Crawford said, move up to 147 and fight me. I'm not doing that. And also said he wasn't a champion. Said, wait, what champion? Who's the champion? Devin Haney holds all the belts. Devin Haney's not, Gervonta's not the champion, which is a fair shot at him. However, Gervonta Davis has been a multi-time champion. He's in the second weight class. But that aside, let's move to the other portion, where Canelo Alvarez, Terence Crawford was asked about Canelo Alvarez. And he said, yeah, I'd fight Canelo Alvarez, but I'm only going to go up to at a catch weight of 158. And what was Canelo Alvarez's response? It was, I'm not going to no catch weight with Terence Crawford. If Terence Crawford want to fight, tell him to move up to 168. I'll fight him at 168, which, by the way, is the exact same thing like I said, that Terence Crawford said to Gervonta Davis. Okay? So let's make sure that we're even-handed here. First of all, let me be very clear, because there's a lot of people that do not listen and just hear what they want to hear. I know Terence Crawford is not fighting Gervonta Davis, and Terence Crawford knows he's not fighting Gervonta Davis. I know Terence Crawford is not fighting Canelo Alvarez, and Terence Crawford knows that he's not fighting Canelo Alvarez. I have no delusions in my brain about that. However, for the people out there who are not named Terence Crawford, that talk about, oh, Gervonta needs to do this and do that. Well, you make sure you go tell Terence Crawford what he needs to do and go up to 168 and fight Canelo Alvarez at 168 pounds. Terence Crawford is not going to do that. Why is that? Because that's too big for Terence Crawford. Just like Gervonta Davis is, Terence Crawford is too big for Terence Crawford is too big for Gervonta Davis. Same thing. But you could say, no, 147 and 135, that's only two weight classes. And 147 to 168 is you have to go through three weight classes. Well, please recall that, number one, in the beginning of their career, Gervonta Davis was a 126 pounder who then moved up to 130 and then to 135. Terence Crawford was originally a 140 pounder who went to 135, then went to 140 and 147. Canelo Alvarez was originally a 147 pounder who went to 154, 160, and then 168. So really, the size difference between Terence Crawford and Gervonta Davis and Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez is about the same. Even though the frame difference between Canelo and Terence Crawford, as far as their height and their length, is much more similar than Gervonta Davis's and Terence Crawford's. And why is that? It is that way because, like I said, Terence Crawford started his career at 147, 140, then moved down, but he started at 140. And Canelo Alvarez started at 147. Even though he was younger, when he started, he still started at 147. They only started one weight class apart. Terence Crawford, who started his career at 140, and Gervonta Davis, who started his career at 126, is 130, 135, 140. Started their weight classes three weight classes apart, which is why you see the drastic size difference between Terence Crawford and Gervonta Davis, and you do not see, if they were to stand next to each other, Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez. You will not see that difference, that size difference, as far as their height and their frame. You will see it in their musculature, because most definitely Canelo Alvarez, like Mike Tyson, is around the same height as Roy Jones Jr. and the same length as Roy Jones Jr. But at the end of the day, he's just a much bigger person. But look, man, the hypocrisy of it, the whole thing just always blows my mind from boxing fans, because I don't really get into talking too much about what specifically about the fighters, because those guys are in the ring, and we're out here in the comment land talking about what's going on in the sport of boxing like fans are supposed to do. Not like fans should be ashamed of for doing, but what they supposed to do. Support the sport, talk about the sport, debate about the sport, bring up things that one fan may disagree with that another fan agrees with. Different point of views, good heated arguments. All of these things are essential to the survival of the sport of boxing. So while y'all cry about everybody else's opinion, just remember that they're very needed, because what could be happening is that nobody talks about it. Anyway, that's my take on the matter. You let me know what you think in the comment section. And with that, I'm out. Deuces.